Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR. Today, it is the man they call Meathead, the lovely Linda Kay, and the dapper,
Yes,
the
dapper.
exquisite, the
Yeah.
Matthew Thomas of Matthew Thomas's. He has now won the number one spot of Matthew Thomas's. It's Matthew Thomas.
Yeah, this attire was put together by some Cody Rhodes grooming tips circa 2010, 2000.
Oh, dashing.
Yeah,
Very dashing.
Gonna win that title and pick me up some big points. WrestleMania this weekend.
You're dressed like you're going to win a PWR draft. It's not going to happen, but
Yeah.
I mean, you're dressed like it's going to happen.
Points from Cody. I mean, everybody else wears their attire, tries to sell their own shirts and stuff, and Cody just doesn't care. He comes out, dressed
So is
up.
that the new merch that Cody sells? Is Brooks Brothers type stuff instead of a wrestling T-shirt like collar and elbow? Instead of that, put them up there.
So that's
instead of that.
You go to the merch stands and you're actually able to get fitted for a suit. And how great would that be? You start seeing about 50% of your audience at WWE shows dressed up, dressed to the nine, like Cody. Before you know it, we're going to get back to that culture where we dress up to fly on airplanes again.
And you're going to be in shirt and tie at baseball games too?
Yeah. No, I missed that. I was never alive for that, but I still miss it.
Well, it's
Linda Kay.
You've dressed up, Matthew, for it's WrestleMania week, so I'm assuming maybe that's the connection, the dashing, the dapper.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to watch WrestleMania in this. This is what I'm going to be like for WrestleMania.
Well, if we're not going to be wearing shirt and ties, Linda, if you're not going to be in a ball and gown, what should they be wearing?
What you and I are sporting, and what Matthew's usually sporting when he's not.
I'm going to work stiff for the whole show.
Yeah,
I'm going to work stiff.
Collar and elbow. Make sure to visit collarandelbowbrand.com. As always, check out the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashion. It is WrestleMania week, like we mentioned. So I know I will be sporting my collar and elbow gear in LA this weekend, as many others will be. Of course, Collar and Elbow will be present throughout LA events and festivities. Yeah. And if you're not able to reach any of our Collar and Elbow friends at their tent, their booth, if you will, you can always go to collarandelbowbrand.com, and to save a little cash, use promo code Linda K, that's LINDAKAY, to save 10% off your order, and you can be comfortable and fashionable.
Linda, you got more direct line to Al than anybody here. I just got an idea. I need a collar and elbow long sleeve shirt that literally says collar around the collar and elbow on the elbows. Simple, but yet very effective. Can you please pass that along?
Can I jump one step on you? I need the hand marks on the shirt to where a collar and elbow shirt is made.
Oh.
Where the move goes. Can I have the hand marks? That's step one. And then, have the hand right there.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah. I can see what
if I'm not getting a White Castle shirt, I want a collar and elbow shirt. There we go. All right. Real quick, tell us about Pro Wrestling Insurance.
Absolutely. To make sure you are always covered, whether you are a pro wrestler or an acquaintance, a family member, a friend. You can be anybody, because ProWrestlingInsurance.com does cater to everybody. Yes, it's called ProWrestlingInsurance.com because we do specialize in those in the pro wrestling industry, but anybody can be covered with this supplemental coverage. It is affordable, as low as $8 a month, to make sure you are covered if you get hurt anywhere, whether in the ring, whether not in the ring, because again, this is for everybody. You can visit our friend Chris at ProWrestlingInsurance.com. He can fill you all in about how you can be covered and get paid if you get hurt. Yes, this will help pay those medical bills that you get if you do get hurt. ProWrestlingInsurance.com. Visit Chris, find out about that affordable supplemental plan, as well as event promoter coverage, as well as life insurance policies. Make sure you are covered. Go to ProWrestlingInsurance.com.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to run through basically AEW activities from last week. Then we're going to get into WWE news. And folks, it's WrestleMania season. We're going to talk about the odds. Who's favored to win their matches on Saturday and Sunday, and who we think is going to win as well. Plus, we're going to go over the PWR Fantasy Draft. The season ends this Sunday. Does Matthew Thomas have a chance with that fancy shirt and tie?
Oh, you know it.
All right. Let's talk AEW news first. The white elephant in the room is still happening, folks, and it's the CM Punk Instagram tweet that was up there for about a minute and then taken down. We all know CM Punk is very intelligent. Okay. When he put the post up there, it wasn't an accident. He didn't accidentally type this. Somebody didn't accidentally type it for him. He put it up there on purpose, pulled it down. He knew the talk would be about pulling it down. He knew somebody would screen cap it. He knew that it would get out there. Long story short, complaining about how things were going with his injury, how Moxley didn't want to lose to him, and how he thinks Chris Jericho is a stooge. Come on, guys. I thought we were healed from the CM Punk really trashing of the company, trashing of the wrestling when it came to All Out in Chicago in September. Matthew Thomas, where you at on the CM Punk story as of today?
Yeah, I'm kind of going to go back from where I was at initially. I think that things have potentially healed, and this is just more working potential angles when he ultimately comes back to that company. I think it's a shoe-in that Punk's returning. You've got built-in storylines with the Elite. Now you got Moxley, you got Jericho. These feuds and stuff write themselves for the next couple of years with Punk. I think it's a given.
Okay, Linda Kay, one of the things he said was that Moxley had proposed a Rocky 3 type program with Punk. Who's the Clubber Lang? Who's the Rocky Balboa?
Some great points there, Matthew. But what I'm thinking is just getting some more eyes, some more ears to himself right now. It is WrestleMania week. This is the week where all eyes are on pro wrestling.
Media week. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't think too much about it being worked in angles, but that's a really great point, Matthew. I was just thinking, hey, it's WrestleMania week. I'm gonna bring some attention back to Punk. Whether he's officially in or back with AEW or not, we don't know behind the scenes, but it's definitely brought that attention, and he's in the mix right now. He's in the talks.
So I get my Rockies mixed up. Does that mean in one of these scenarios that William Regal would have died, and or that that Punk has like a little kid he befriends or something? My Rockies are just kind of conflating right now.
I believe that's also the one with Valkyrie where she comes down and she's like an R&B artist and she raises up Apollo Creed's son or something. I don't know. They're all meshed together. Mm-hmm. But no, honestly, I would be willing to bet that the Moxley character would be the Clubber Lang and CM Punk would be the Rocky. But according to Punk, which we don't know what's true or not, Moxley said, I ain't losing to you. Really? Are we in 2023 and we're talking about that? I mean, come on. What's best for business? So who knows? And who really cares, honestly? That's all hearsay. Let's get into results from last week. Dynamite, we had a bunch of big matches, and I want to ask your opinion on this, Matthew. And Linda, I want to ask your opinion on this too. We'll start with you, Matthew. Vikingo, have you heard of him beforehand? Did you know who he was? What were your thoughts after seeing him?
Oh, it was a very, very entertaining match. I had no familiarity with him going into this, so this was my introduction. I mean, there were some dangerous spots there, especially that spot on the apron. If you see a slow replay, back of his head took an absolute beating there. But I mean, it was something to see.
But Vikingo, if we're supposed to, and Matthew, I know that you and I have had this conversation many a time on a Thursday morning. Vikingo, given this great pomp and circumstance to this match, but the American audience, unless they're deep diving on YouTube and going elsewhere, have no idea who the hell this guy is. Yeah. That's been my beef with the New Japan stuff, and that's been my beef with all these other talents that they bring in. AEW, maybe they got these deals with other companies where they promote, cross-promote, whatever, and they're getting paid for it. But if I'm supposed to care so much about Vikingo, where's he going to be next week? Is this guy an AEW talent? Look, let's say this. When Dynamite started, I had watched one AEW pay-per-view. Then I finally saw these talents. I didn't know who Kenny Omega was. I didn't know who the Bucks were. I didn't know who Orange Cassidy was. I didn't know who, Hangman Adam Page was, even though he was in, Ring of Honor. I learned who Sammy Guevara was. I learned who Darby Allin was. I learned who all these guys were. I learned who the Dark Order was. Now I know who they are. If they expect me to put any investment in Vikingo, I got to see this dude for a while.
You always get the feeling that you've got to be watching something other than AEW to really know what's going on with AEW.
Right.
And I think that's one of the problems there. It's not self-contained. There's really no I don't know that maybe it was announced. Was it this match announced on the previous week's Dynamite or Rampage or whatever?
A dream match. Whose
yeah,
dream?
Yeah. The dream of people that are watching something in addition to AEW. There is this non-self-contained element to it. And you even have that with the people on the AEW roster because you've got so much of the talent that you do not see weekly on the two main televised shows that you would have to see on Dark or Elevation or something. And so that's where they have they almost prescribe homework for their audience to be fully in.
I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. Linda, I had more investment in Hook and Stokely Hathaway.
That was tremendous, by the way. I did enjoy that match too, but as far as Vikingo goes, it being dubbed a dream match, that in itself does bring a little more interest to me. I too didn't know too much about him. I know this, I think we get another dream match tomorrow night on Dynamite, by the way, too. But again, I may not be as familiar with some of the talent they bring in, but hearing that does bring a little more attention. Yes.
Yes.
I was invested in that match because hell yeah, it had its moments that made me pop. That's cool. But I also sometimes it makes you just like, oh, I always hope for the safety of these guys here. But
yeah.
I will say a point to that is we know who he is. That match was tremendous. It was shown on Dynamite. Could it have been on a pay-per-view maybe? Or
the
I do
Forbidden Door pay-per-view?
Have a match coming up, yes. But
yeah.
I guess it is a unique way. That's kind of what sets AEW apart from other promotions, if you will. Just that additional showcase of talents, and it's I don't know if it's a contractual obligation with some of the other promotions where it's just a one-off, two-off, or like Meathead, I know you said in the past, like if they're just in town for a couple of weeks, that's
right
on programming for a couple of weeks, or maybe that's what the contractual obligation was to begin with, or maybe it's more so for the talents to really utilize that time, get themselves more advanced, more in the spotlight, and see where it goes from there.
And speaking of tomorrow night, yes, we have another dream match. We also have the return of Adam Cole, baby, and the debut of the brand new TV show. And I'm spacing on the name, unfortunately, but it's one of these behind the scenes type shows that'll air directly after Dynamite. But let's talk about Rampage from last week. Speaking of talents that, like Matthew said, that we don't see on regular AEW TV, Jake Hager had a match with Brody King. We also had the Kingdom taking on the Acclaimed in tag team action. And for the TNT Championship, Powerhouse Hobbs, who's now getting regular TV time weekly, which is good, taking on Penta El Cerro Miedo. Layla Gray gets a match against Taya Valkyrie, and we heard from Ricky Starks as well. Linda, the dream match that everybody's talking about isn't the dream match that you and I had for tomorrow night. It's the boys and Dalton Castle.
Yes.
It will be on AEW Dynamite.
Absolutely. Again,
now, just so we're clear, I'm not dreaming about Dalton Castle.
Okay.
I'm not dreaming about the boys. I just like watching them wrestle.
Well, yes, and that entrance, I mean, you have to see that. And I know us here on the show, we're really big fans of entrances, not just the music, but the theatrics, if you will.
The theatrics, 100%.
Yes. Looking forward to that. And this is another case there where it is Ring of Honor talent getting that the cycle in. I don't know really how to word that. I'm glad it's being showed on Dynamite versus Rampage.
They have a big pay-per-view coming up this week as well during WrestleMania week.
Yeah, absolutely. So good to see that, and I guess we'll just see what all gets squeezed in that 2 hours of Dynamite and that 1 hour.
Matthew Thomas, now I know that your application for the boys was denied, but it couldn't have been because of that shirt and tie and jacket. Yeah. Your thoughts on Dalton Castle and the boys?
I'd like to see a little stipulation added to this, like if the Blackpool Combat Club, if they lose or something, like Moxley has to be like an honorary boy for a month.
Oh, make Moxley a young boy.
That's what I want to see.
Oh boy. Let's shift gears and go into WWE. First off, the big news for the week, inducted into the Hall of Fame this coming Friday is going to be a woman with a lot of legs. It's Stacy Keibler is the latest and last, it looks like, to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame for 2023. Matthew, your thoughts on Miss Keibler, or as Linda likes to call her, Miss Hancock?
Yes, Miss Hancock.
glad to see her in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. That's great analysis, Linda Kay.
Yeah, that's about all the insight that I've
Well, I love Stacy Keibler. I always have. And yes, Miss Hancock back in WCW days, but just the various things that she was involved in WWE as a manager, was she a GM at some point too?
She might have been. She might have been an assistant, but she did take a bump from Bubba Ray.
Yes. And one of my most memorable moments was that famous scene there where she was dancing on the desk in the ring with Mr. McMahon falling over. I don't know if that will necessarily be shown as far as a montage honoring Miss Keibler there, but I really enjoyed her. And hey, she's definitely one of the females that really stands out throughout the history of WWE in my eyes, at least from what I saw as well as growing up too, but also just, I don't know. I think I didn't hear many people saying no, she shouldn't. I mean, just based off what I'm reading,
right.
in the interwebs, I think a lot of people are supporting this.
Have you gone to DirtySheets.com? What are they saying there about Stacy Keibler?
Yeah, I think they've been pretty solid, but I do want to add this though on Hall of Fame talk. I am very excited about the induction of Andy Kaufman, and if there's any celebrity that would ever have gotten as big of a kick out of being inducted into a WWE Hall of Fame, I think it's Andy Kaufman. And I have not seen
big a kick in the background. In the front, he might have worked against it.
Yeah. And I don't know who is going to receive it for him. But
come on, that's easy. That's got to be Jerry the King Lawler.
No, I mean, I assumed Lawler would induct him. But as far as, a family member or something, and I hope there's some hijinks.
Tony Clifton?
Yeah, I hope there's some kind of hijinks there because, I hope I hope the induction
Kabuki-ish?
Kaufman.
Is that what you're thinking?
What if it's Letterman who inducts him and Lawler who accepts it?
Oh, that would be outstanding.
I don't think it'd be Letterman, but it'd be awesome. It would be awesome. Okay, let's get into Raw from last night real quick and talk about a couple updates to WrestleMania, and we'll kind of work our way into WrestleMania. We finally got a confirmation on the Hell in a Cell and who is actually participating in it, because we knew it was going to be Edge, and we knew that Finn Balor could be in it, but it's not going to be Finn Balor. It's going to be the Demon. And the way it's being promoted now, even though they've only been doing it for about a week, is the Devil versus the Demon. Edge calling himself the Devil. Finn Balor coming in as the Demon character in the Hell in a Cell. Matthew, your thoughts on the Demon returning to WrestleMania?
Good on WWE for putting a Hell in a Cell on a non-Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. I think we seem to be getting away from that. I think that these gimmick matches, they need to happen when the feud dictates it versus, every October, every whatever, we're going to have a chairs match at TLC. Really excited to see this return. And who knows? I mean, I think Money in the Bank's on the calendar to stay, but maybe we get to a point where we actually get Money in the Bank back at WrestleMania.
Money in the Bank at WrestleMania was always something to look forward to, especially with WrestleMania being 2 nights now. We can make, we can get those kind of separated and, kind of featured and specialized. All right, let's talk odds. The odds to win their matches at the respective WrestleMania nights. Now, we know that WrestleMania Night 1, Saturday, will open with John Cena and Austin Theory. Austin Theory last night having a great empty arena promo. What did you think about that, Matthew? And let's talk about the odds of who's going to win this match.
Oh my goodness, the transformation that Austin Theory has made from the time that we were doing these NXT recaps and talking about him and the way that was the Gargano stable, right? The way.
Yeah, the way. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he was fun there. He was a joy to watch there. But this is a serious Austin Theory that looks like $1 million.
That beard doesn't look like $1 million. It looks like it was glued on. But
you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Fandango versus Jericho in 2013 that opened up that WrestleMania. I think we're going to open up with a surprise upset here with Austin Theory picking up the win.
Okay, Austin Theory is favored to win the match. Linda Kay, your thoughts on who wins this?
Yeah, I do believe this will be a match to really put over Austin Theory even more. He's doing tremendous, looks great, and Cena there.
A win and a retain. Okay.
Yeah, but it's a great match to really kick off Mania. I mean, you imagine that pop just for Cena too. Even though it's been a long time, I do want Cena to win. But I don't think he will.
Out there though, if Cena's in ring shape, I can also see a scenario where he wins the title here, and the open challenge is not a weekly Raw thing, but it is Cena taking that belt around to various press that he does, and going on Jimmy
Good
Fallon,
Morning American. Yeah.
Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel or all the Jimmy shows. And
so you're saying that the gimmick of the 24/7, where he carries it around with him, and he challenges Bob Smith from the morning news of Topeka, Kansas.
I think he has the belt there as an accessory and can potentially promote the WWE and the U.S. title on those outlets. I think you're still building up to matches at major shows.
That would help Team Long Time. Or maybe Cena gets an entrance once again where you have all the Cenas, and one of them at the very end is Austin Theory.
I love a drumline more than anything else in the world. I absolutely love a drumline. If I could be brought in by drumline, and Cena did that one at 24, I think, where he was in the AWA shirts, the red, white, and blue. I think he was brought in by drumline. Yeah. Oh, that would be great. But I digress. Let's talk more about it. The host, excuse me, the host of WrestleMania, The Miz, I know Linda's excited about it, is having a musical.
That's what I'm looking forward to. The musical. They didn't call it a musical because I thought it still said WrestleMania the musical.
It might be WrestleMania the musical. I just made a musical. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's what it's going to be. Your hopes and dreams, Linda, for Miz and his musical.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get Theory Cena to kick off as far as the match goes, but we're gonna get a special musical.
Yeah.
And Maurice.
Yeah, well, Maurice is obviously a knockout, gorgeous woman. Matthew, your thoughts on the musical?
Oh, I'm excited. This is going to be fun. They've done a really, really good job with the WrestleMania Goes to Hollywood promos this year. The movie.
New video last night, by the way, too.
Yeah, throwbacks. What's so cool with this is, it's very entertaining on its face, but it's also, you've got that nostalgia because you have it when they did this in 2005 at WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. So really, really great. I mean, everything from the storyline to the Raws and SmackDowns to the production, the build of this year's WrestleMania has just been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been absolutely tremendous. Let's talk matches. Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio. Matthew, who you got? And let me get to the odds here real quick while you explain it. Who's going to win that match?
I think you got to have in here. I mean, it makes sense that he would do the job to his son, but I just don't know that, especially if you are going to, I think a lot of this is going to depend on how Cena and Theory's booked. I don't see Theory and Dominic both winning.
Really?
I'm going to go Rey here just because I think the feel-good moment of Rey putting his son in his place from a storyline, keeping everybody happy perspective is going to be a lot better than the alternative. Dominic's not going to be hurt by being, beaten by his father. And I think that Dominic doesn't lose anything by losing, and I think it's going to be a very, very feel-good moment for Rey to win.
Linda, I disagree with Matthew, and I want to hear what you think as well. I think that Rey is going to be counting the lights 1, 2, 3 at SoFi Stadium, even though the feel-good moment was finally the Hispanic father sticking up for his wife and his daughter and not having another man talk to them like that. Linda, your thoughts?
I've gone back and forth at this. I thought just from this build-up, this lead-up, that it would be Rey all the way. However, thinking about the Hall of Fame still taking place Friday, and just let's not forget about that moment on SmackDown last week where there was a lathe of the SmackDown. That was tremendous. I watched that clip.
They got physical last night. They got physical last night as well. So
yeah, they showed it numerous times on replay. There was a feel-good moment there, and I think we'll still get a feel-good moment at the Hall of Fame. I think there will be shenanigans. I think there's going to be an interruption from Dominic and Rhea. And I don't think there's going to be an altercation there, but I think it's going to be more of a verbal altercation where Rey will win that battle. But then come Mania, I think he is going to put over his son. But I mean, either way works. So I do want Rey to win, but I think that just based off this being the retirement, Hall of Fame induction doesn't necessarily mean retirement. Let me rephrase that. Sorry. I'm thinking in my mind, he's retiring, but that we know when you're in the Hall of Fame, it doesn't mean you are retired.
Right.
So I think regardless of the outcome, Rey can still wrestle. He'll still be back. But I think as far as WrestleMania goes, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I'm seeing wins across the board for Judgment Day, which would include Dominic.
Yep, absolutely. I do believe that. Go ahead, Matthew.
So what I just told you is kind of how I see it going, but to kind of echo back to an old David Hero segment of how he would actually book it.
Booker. Oh.
Here's how I would book it. I would have Ray's wife turn on Ray and join Judgment Day.
WrestleMania 2000. So you're saying, I mean, when there was a McMahon in every corner?
Yep.
Yeah. Huh? Not going to happen. Ray's going to count the lights and do the job for his son as Dominic gets shot. He's not going to be hurt by a loss, but he gets catapulted by a win. Okay. The odds are that Dominic is favored to win this match as well. The betting odds in Las Vegas. Let's continue on and go to the next match here. WrestleMania Showcase for the men. In the men's showcase, you're going to have the teams of Alpha Academy. You're going to have the Street Profits. You're going to have the Viking Raiders and the team of Braun Strowman and Ricochet. Matthew, pick a team.
Alpha Academy to get more of a spotlight on the
Otis
between Gable and Otis.
No. I think there's going to be friction there, and Otis is going to move on to his lady Maxine, who he was calling out last night on Raw. Linda K, your thoughts?
I think due to the push they've been getting and the TV time they've been getting, I think it's going to be the Viking Raiders.
Favored in the Vegas odds is the Viking Raiders, and Valhalla has her team primed and ready to win at WrestleMania. Let's talk about the women. There was this big, exciting build, right? Who's going to be the fourth team? I felt it was a bit of a letdown, but I'm excited to see them. Here's the four teams. It's going to be Natalya and Liv. Liv and Raquel, Natalya and Shotzi. I got those two kind of crossed up the faces. Sonya and Chelsea is the new mystery team, but the winner of this match, in my opinion, is Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Linda K, your thoughts?
I agree. We know how strong they are, and I love their dominance that we've been seeing on SmackDown. I think this could lead into a new storyline after Mania, of them being the winners of this Fatal 4-Way. They deserve their shot at the women's tag team titles because they haven't really called out for that, even though they've been kind of dominating everything and hurting some of the talents there over at SmackDown. It's time for them to go for the
I think that's the next move. Yeah, I think that's the next move. Matthew Thomas, your thought on the women's showcase match?
I think you called it, and the cool thing about that is that scores more points for Team Nelson Mandela and helps build the greatest comeback in PWR draft history.
LL Cool J once said, "Don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years." Intercontinental Championship match, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and Sheamus. We saw Gunther last night on Raw decimate Dolph Ziggler. Matthew, who you got in a triple threat?
I'm going to go McIntyre because Gunther's reign has been so long, and we still need to get McIntyre back the
WrestleMania moment.
Feel good. Yeah, that feel good big win.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Linda K, your thoughts?
I agree. He needs that huge pop. He needs that moment. But I think one day it'll come for him in the form of a WWE Heavyweight Championship. I do feel Gunther will retain. He's such a strong Intercontinental Champion. I think the fans are actually a lot behind him, especially after that showing at the Rumble. And he does have Imperium, who I don't believe are banned at ringside for anything. So I see some shenanigans in there. While I don't feel they'll be involved in the actual finish, I feel they will have some type of distractions during the match, which I think will create more of friction there with Sheamus and Drew, because we've been seeing that the past couple weeks as well.
You make a great point as far as not being banned at ringside. So those brutes will start get brawling with Imperium. I see Gunther retaining, and he's the odds-on favorite as well in Vegas to retain. Edge and no longer Finn Balor. It's the Demon. It's Hell in a Cell. Linda, I've told you this many times. I enjoyed the Demon when he showed up against Roman Reigns and did the pulsing. Are we going to get some sort of show with the Demon this time, or are they just going to be violent in the Hell in a Cell?
Well, instead of red lights, maybe we get purple lights, or better, if we get the Demon painted up with purple.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Pick a winner.
Yeah. And as much as you want to see Edge have this feel-good story himself, he did just have that win the last pay-per-view with Beth. I feel this time it's going to be the Demon getting that win. And again, victories across the board for Judgment Day, coming off strong after Mania.
Great point, Matthew. Let me ask you this. The last 2 years, we thought that we were going to get Beth at WrestleMania, but she's been prominently featured at the pay-per-view prior and not at WrestleMania. Your thoughts on that and what's going to happen in this match?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they have tried to do the Beth and Edge thing,
Twice now.
Yeah. And yeah, I think just kind of giving Edge a spotlight for Mania. I see Balor or the Demon winning here. I think he needs to get back on the map as a single star on the main roster. And I feel like we've had so much start and stop since he won that inaugural Universal title. And I think this could potentially
got hurt in a match.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was an instant stop.
Yeah, this could be the the moment here.
Okay. In the match that nobody knew they needed, and they don't, Brock Lesnar and Omos. Omos is a big dude, and I feel like he's the Giant Gonzalez to Brock Lesnar's Undertaker in this match. How long is this match going to last, Matthew?
37 minutes.
Lo and behold, it's going to be a 60-minute Iron Man match.
So we saw some physicality on Raw last night, and you know what? That few seconds of physicality, it went over better than I thought. So I'm going to make an outlandish prediction here that this match is going to surprise people. This match might even go as far as stealing the show on
Get out of here with that nonsense.
Yep. So, and
pick a winner.
All right. I'm going to say, I think the reaction to Brock losing would not be good. You would have a similar Daniel Bryan losing opening match of WrestleMania in 2012. Although
I was there for that. That was, I mean, he lost it in how many seconds?
Yeah.
Miami, yeah.
Oh, the thing of it is, though, I mean,
was that Miami? I'm sorry. I was thinking about something else.
I'm thinking 28. You're right. Sorry. I'm thinking of the moment where him and AJ had the kiss.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Matthew. Sorry. And but you know what? I'm going to go against that, and I'm going to say this is the surprise. This is the upset of WrestleMania, almost for the win.
Linda Kay, your thoughts. And where does Bobby Lashley fit into all of this?
Yeah, okay. So there is a reason for this Omos push, right? But I don't think it's necessarily going to be a win for him. You bring up a great point. And oh, by the way, yes, that Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, AJ moment was 2012. It was WrestleMania 28 Miami. I was there. And it was one of those moments where if you weren't in the stadium yet, or if you were just waiting in line to get your cocktail, you completely missed it. I caught it live. However, well, I feel Brock will win. However, I feel that we're going to get a better match than what we think. I hope one thing that we will see is Omos matching Brock's speed during the match. We've seen a lot of comparisons to their strength and their size, but we've never really seen Omos really go at it fast, much charging. Not saying he has to run, but just something where he shows more speed, some more agility. Maybe he might jump off the top rope. I was
going to say suicide tope suicido. Are we getting that out of Omos?
Oh my, possibly.
I'm thinking moonsault.
The what?
Moonsault.
Oh, moonsault. Sorry. For a minute. Okay, but no, I do want Brock to win this, but I do feel that it's going to be a match that we're going to have some great surprises.
Okay. The odds makers have this as a bigger slaughter than they had the Super Bowl III, where the Colts were supposed to run through the Jets. All right, so Brock Lesnar or the Colts, the Jets or Omos. I don't know. Brock Lesnar better not lose that. Go ahead, Linda.
Sorry, you brought up Lashley. Can Bobby Lashley be inserted? Can this be a three-way match somehow?
Please? Maybe? I don't know.
Bobby at Mania, though.
I do too.
Can Joe Namath be inserted?
He could, but don't let there be any female sideline reporters. Stratus, Lita, and Becky will take on Damage Control in a 6-woman tag. They opened up Raw last night with a promo, and you know what? It wasn't bad. Becky said exactly what we're all thinking. What the hell has Damage Control done since SummerSlam? Matthew.
Yeah, this thing's just kind of dragged on. And I feel like you need to get more of a focus on Bayley as a singles competitor.
Ding dong, hello.
Yeah, I see I see Lita, Trish, and Becky retaining here, but I feel like
retaining what?
Or that's right, because it's not on the line. I was just trying to get those title defense points there. Yeah, and I don't necessarily like not having the women's titles defended at WrestleMania. I feel like it's kind of wrapped up in this. I feel like this is going to be the jumping off point to some kind of storyline. And I mean, I was going to say, I'm really intrigued by, I would not mind a Becky and Lita or a Becky and Trish storyline, but I don't think we're going to get it. Becky's too much money as a face right now.
Yeah.
But
excuse me.
Yeah, I want to see some kind of jumping off point for a storyline from this.
Well, and I think we're going to get it. It'll be Lita and Becky taking on Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. If that's at Backlash in Puerto Rico with the Bad Bunny, who knows? But this is an easy one for the faces. Let's go into, and I had thought that all the belts were being defended. You make a great point. The only one not being defended is the Women's Tag Team Championships. But speaking of Tag Team Championships, the Undisputed Tag Team Championships are on the line.
Yeah.
The Usos and their year-plus reign against Sami, Zayn, and Kevin Owens. It's KO Mania or it's WrestleZania. Which one do you got, Matthew?
I think this is the climax for the Bloodline.
Whoa, I don't want to climax with you guys. Go ahead.
Yeah. For Sami and Kevin and the Usos here. So yeah, we knew it was going to come to an end at some point, and I think everybody was hoping there was going to be adequate payoffs, and I think we have got it from the tag team perspective, and I think we've got it from the main title perspective as well too.
Linda Kay, should this match close out WrestleMania Night 1?
Either this match or the Rhea Charlotte.
Yeah. The Rhea Charlotte, and I was going to get into that in a second. Pick a winner between WrestleZania and KO Mania versus the Usos.
I at first was thinking easy decision here where it was KO and Sami, and then I thought about, can both the Usos and Roman both lose their titles? Like, can that actually happen over WrestleMania? Because I do feel Cody will win. But then I thought, kind of cliffhanger with that lead. I was going back and forth about this, but then I thought about it. Okay, so if Usos do lose, we get that feel-good moment between KO and Sami, but then we also then have more of that drama going to night 2. Will Roman lose? Will this be the end of the Bloodline? I think it might be, but that also leads to some more intrigue going to night 2. So I'll say let's have that feel-good moment. I say Sami, Zayn, and KO for the
They close down the show. Yeah, and let's talk about it. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, if they don't close out night 1, do they open up night 2?
I think it's the tag match and then Rhea and Charlotte night 1.
Okay.
All right. I know we know Cena in theory are opening up night 1, but do we have the nights lined up right now? Do we have
about 3 to 4 are lined up?
So we're still going in with some surprises, or maybe we'll get it on SmackDown. That's interesting.
Yeah. So Linda, your thoughts between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley? Who do you got?
Rhea Ripley.
It's her time.
Yeah.
And again, I've been banging this desk for 4 years for Rhea Ripley. I've been a big proponent of Rhea Ripley. She didn't get a WrestleMania moment because when she had her first big WrestleMania match, it was in the Performance Center against Charlotte Flair as the NXT Women's Champion. It's time, as Matthew has mentioned before, and we'll get to Matthew in a second, it's time to give her the big WrestleMania moment that she didn't get before due to the pandemic. Matthew, your thoughts on Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair?
Yeah, I think Rhea's going to take it here. And it seems like the last couple of weeks, Rhea's still a heel by her association with the Judgment Day. Right. But her interaction in the women's division and kind of what we've seen from Charlotte, I don't think the heel face lines are super defined right now.
No.
So testing the waters for...
Let's go to SmackDown real quick. Charlotte Flair was getting wutted all over her promo on Friday night to the point where, you know what it reminded me of? I want to say 7-8 years ago, post WrestleMania on the Raw after WrestleMania, they took over and she did not control it. She lost control of that crowd. That happened again last Friday.
And I think Charlotte's had that title so many times that Charlotte's probably
14 to be exact.
Where, I would much rather see Charlotte involved in because I think she has the chops to pull off a separate title storyline, you know, in the women's division, and you're going to instantly have investment there because it is Charlotte. I think that keeping her away from the title for a while is, you know, is the way to go. And I think this is Rhea's time.
Matthew, let's go one more women's match here. Bianca Belair and Asuka. I feel that they've been building Asuka this entire time to get her back into the title game.
Yeah, and I think that's what this is. And I think just as important as that, you need some time for Bianca to not have that title and for that character.
She won it at WrestleMania last year.
The year before, too. She's had 2 huge WrestleMania moments already.
Yep.
That character to grow. And I don't know if they're going to try to pull it off. And I know Asuka's kind of been this enigma right now. But if you can say Asuka is the heel in this match, I'd love to see a double turn happen right here. I think it's time for heel Bianca, and I think you could actually.
I mean, heel profits
at maybe, but yeah, I think this is. I want to see a repackaging of Bianca.
Okay. Well, here's a packaging that we didn't like when it first came out, but now he's being packaged properly. Logan Paul is a heel just by nature, right? But when he was brought into WWE, he was presented as his face. WWE Universe did not want that at all. They don't like this guy. This guy's an outsider in here doing these matches. He's taking on Seth frickin' Rollins. Just by association makes him this uber babyface, even though Seth can continue to do the same things and be whatever the company needs him to be based on what his opponent is. Matthew, your thoughts on Rollins, Paul?
I thought about this last night because, you know, as entertaining as Paul has been, he's yet to get a win in WWE because he's had these very, very high profile matches. I don't think it either, kind of like we were talking about with the potential reaction to Brock and Omos. I think that if Rollins gets beat by Paul here, you potentially really, really upset the crowd. And Paul doesn't need that for heel heat. He gets enough heel heat as it is.
Because he's a natural douchebag. I mean, I
think that much good can come of him beating Rollins here. So, and you really got to look at Rollins is somebody that is ready to go in a main event picture anytime, you know. So I think you got to keep that in mind.
Yep, and obviously the odds makers in Vegas have Rollins as a huge favorite. Linda Kay, your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, definitely Rollins with the win.
A definitive win too.
Yeah, I thought this would have been a great opener for night 2, but it was announced on Raw last night that it's going to be on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like I said, some of the matches they said, so I was watching really closely every time they would put that WrestleMania marquee up. Yep. A lot of them still said Saturday, Sunday.
And he mentioned in his promo while they were talking that it was officially Saturday.
Yes, and it's Logan Paul's birthday apparently on April Fool's Day. Or is that just a joke? Who knows? However,
who knows? Maybe he's the fool. I don't know.
Yeah. Rollins with the win.
It's main event time, Linda. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, the bloodline. Does it come to an end on Sunday night?
Yeah, I think so. I love Roman's reign, and it's been tremendous. But I think it's just the time due to. I mean, it's been coming. We didn't necessarily know when or how, but just the way things have been going with Sami, and now with KO involved, and with Cody. I mean, this moment is meant for him to win this at Mania. Roman's still a huge star no matter what happens. But then now you get into the next saga of the bloodline. What happens next? Which we kind of got a hint from Cody. I think it was last week he was talking about how he feels, you know, who's Roman going to have after he loses the title to Cody, as Cody is predicting. So
the phrasing that we were getting from Cody a lot is Solo, you're not ready.
Yeah. So I do feel Cody will win. And then I feel that Matthew will get a lot of points here because The Rock's going to come out at the very end and have a face-to-face with Roman.
Yes.
I think so.
I mean, setting up WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, possibly.
Or we go Hulk Hogan WrestleMania 9, and The Rock turns heel and challenges Cody and wins the title. So I get 2 title wins, and then I do get a title loss, but that's okay because you have The Rock as your new champion. I think that's very.
Yeah, you give us your real prediction on what you think is going to happen.
Hey, if not Cody, who is going to take this thing off of Roman? And I think it's been a long time since WWE has had a baby face built like this. I think it's Cody right here, and I think that you get a fitting end to this chapter of
this story. Remember, that's the whole thing. His story is going to be complete.
Yeah, because you do not want this 2-year story basically to pitter patter out. You want it to have a finite, conclusive end, and I think this is it. And I think that if you take him off of TV for a while, you can potentially maybe have Solo out there on his own. Maybe you don't take him off TV, but the bloodline actually is so captivating right now. I don't think they need any titles involved in this. And who knows, maybe Roman schedules a fishing trip with a certain buddy.
That is a perfect button to this entire conversation, this entire season, the 22-23 PWR fantasy draft season. Roman and Moxley go off on a fishing trip right after WrestleMania. Wow.
Yep.
Matthew Thomas, that's why you got a shirt and tie on. That's why you got a jacket on. That's why you do what you do.
People want to hear.
Let's talk about the point totals before we go into this week. And remember, if any of our roster does show up at Stand and Deliver, they get points as well. But really, it's WrestleMania night 1 and 2. The totals brought to you by the accounting firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. The man they call Meathead leading at 4,025. Linda K, team long time, 3,760. And Matthew Thomas, team Nelson Matt Della, way the hell back at 3,265.
Striking distance.
You need us to change the rules to have a chance. That's really what you need.
Hey, remember that one, the record night that I scored at an AEW pay-per-view? I think it was 800 something points. So.
805.
Yes. So
Linda, it was a combination.
WWE talents.
Yeah, it was a combination over the weekend. You had WWE Clash of the Champions and AEW All Out. You scored 805 points over that weekend.
The only members of my roster not currently slated to be on the show are RK Bro and The Rock, and I think they're going to be there before it's all said and done with. So.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Matthew Thomas holding on when there is no hope. Go ahead.
I think I have everybody on my roster except Alexa Bliss on the card, but
let's run down the rosters. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's run down the rosters. Okay. Linda K, you've got Roman Reigns, Alexa Bliss, the aforementioned, Drew McIntyre, Bianca Belair, Gunther, Chris Jericho not on the card.
He'll be here. He's going to perform.
Yeah, Fozzy will be there. Charlotte. Excuse me, that choked me up. It was so funny. Charlotte Flair is going to be there. What, you think I'm funny? I'm like the tribal clown? Charlotte Flair, Kevin Owens, who could be in a title win. John Cena, technically, could be in a title win. Braun Strowman, and Asuka, who could be in a title win. Matthew Thomas, you've got RK Bro.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, possible title win. Matthew's got the Usos, possible title loss. Matthew's got Seth and frickin' Rollins. He's got Becky Lynch. Bray Wyatt's not on the card.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Rhea Ripley, possible title win. Ronda Rousey, Theory, title defense. Bayley, and you've got The Rock. The man they call Meathead will jump in with Judgment Day, which will be Finn Balor. I also have Sami Zayn, title win. Dominic Mysterio, Moxley, who's getting ready for the fishing trip. The Brawling Brutes will have an appearance. Bryan Danielson not on the show. Brock Lesnar on the show. MJF not on the show. Jungle Boy not on the show. And I've got Edge.
Can I just for your generosity, can I have Pitbull? Can you give me Pitbull?
No, Mr. 305. No, thank you.
Oh, that's
Linda,
right.
you were saying about Alexa Bliss.
Yes, I did see something about her tweeting how she will be at Mania. Didn't say to what capacity. I think it was at Mania, not LA, but at Mania to some capacity. So who's to say? I mean, we won't have, I'm assuming it's pretty much confirmed we won't have Bray Wyatt there. Who's to say there's not going to be a mysterious appearance by somebody part of the Wyatt family there who been suggested, just from what we've been seeing, could be Alexa Bliss, and I'll get some appearance points.
Possibly.
I'll also add, we don't know for a fact, it hasn't been confirmed that Bray Wyatt is not Uncle Howdy. So if Uncle Howdy appears or any member of the Wyatt family, I still get appearance points.
Even pretty sure we have somebody that told us the opposite. So I mean,
well, another good point, Meathead, you mentioned in the past, LA Knight.
Yeah.
There. I know we don't have him on any of our rosters, but we gotta see LA Knight in LA.
I do not have LA Knight in LA. All right.
I think that's our closest bet for a Rock appearance. I really do.
Let's put a button on this. Next week, Monday, we will have all the coverage of everything that happened over WrestleMania weekend. For Linda K, for Matthew Thomas, I'm the man they call Meathead, celebrating his victory lane, getting into a victory lap for the PWR Fantasy Draft. But for Linda, for Matthew, I'm Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you guys next week. So long, everyone.